To monitor the severe weather situation, Larry, we have multiple warnings on the radar right now in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings and 2 tornado warnings still in place for parts of the region. It's been an active night, a dangerous night with confirmed tornadoes touching down. The biggest threat right now, we have had observed and confirmed tornadoes with this cell here for parts of the Rockville area, Manteno. This does include Southern Will and Kankakee counties. We're still finding that inflow into this storm. Rotation still being noted with that severe or that tornado warning still in effect until 7:30. So this is approaching Manteno and I-57. So the possibility here of a tornado not out of the question still with the new additional tornado warning that was issued for Newton County in our area, as this will be sliding to the east until 7:45. So the far southern portion of Kankakee into Newton now, and this will be getting close to McClellan here as we head into about the next 30 to 45 minutes. And we'll continuing to not only monitor radar, but also watching rotation out there this evening. So right on top of Rockville, we're still noting some signature here of some spin in the atmosphere, but not as distinct as what we were seeing just about 30 to 45 minutes ago. But we have had reports. We have storm spotters out there this evening of a few tornadoes touching down in this area. I want to take the latest velocity here, and there you can see almost a better defined couplet with the red next to that bright almost green to white color there. This is to the south of St. Anne. Pembroke, you're included in this, and just to the north there of Beaverville. I actually want to take a quick little look into the velocity. This is showing very high winds. So just a quick little scan, and we're finding those winds up to at least 60 miles per hour. The potential for those winds to be a bit stronger here, not out of the question. We're also showing you our ABC 7 storm tracker out there on the roads this evening, and they are actually en route to Streeter. And that's where we had a confirmed tornado touchdown, that large wedge tornado that we were showing you video of. So anyone under tornado warning, do not take them lightly this evening. These storms have had a history of producing tornadoes. They're bringing strong tornadoes to the area, damage being reported. And once Eric does get there, he's heading south there on I-80. He will be bringing us a live picture and update from that area. And Larry, I hope that we're not seeing anything too destructive out of this, but there have been signs of some very strong wedge tornadoes touching ground this evening.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen any major reports of damage. Fingers crossed it stays that way. One of the things that we'll be able to assess tomorrow from these pictures that we've seen of the tornadoes is they've likely carved a path in some of the fields that have soybeans and corn out there. So we'll be able to see the path of that storm from our chopper as we send it up tomorrow and take a look at some of the, hopefully there isn't any damage, but oftentimes when you get a big tornado like that, it leaves a trail right through the fields that you can easily see where the circulation was spinning as it was passing on through. So just to reset, here's all the severe weather warnings we have in place. Those 2 tornado warnings, this one until 7:30, this one until 7:45, and then the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place as well. These storms are moving not as fast as we thought they might, but they're still moving at a pretty decent clip at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. This portion of the storm complex is not moving that fast at all. That's why we've got the flash flood warnings in effect for this zone. There's another part of the storm that we've been focusing on too that I want to highlight again, and that's down here towards the Pontiac area and southward. This is starting to take on more of a derecho type of impact to it as it tracks towards Champaign. This could reach into parts of northwest Indiana, especially south of, say, Rensselaer over the next hour or so, because it'll reach the state line by 8 o'clock. And hopefully what happens is this kind of sucks the energy out of the atmosphere before it moves farther north, because the setup today had all this moisture flowing up from the south. And if you get a thunderstorm complex to the south of where we are, it shuts down that flow of moisture northward and can sometimes lead to a weakening trend with storms that are up in our area. So fingers crossed that stays the case there, but we're watching that little cluster of storms move off towards the east. And just to highlight some other spots here, DeKalb, you're in the thick of some pretty heavy thunderstorms right now with the threat for some high winds. And then also up here across Lake County, you've been getting hit pretty hard for the past 30 minutes to 45 minutes with real heavy downpours, quite a bit of lightning and gusty winds. But even in this area, you can see the intensity of the storm has shown some signs of weakening. So again, all good signs up here to the north, not great signs, but we'll take whatever we can get in this situation where the storm is showing some signs of weakening. Even back towards DeKalb, there might be some subtle signs of the storm weakening, but you're really going to get into it in DeKalb here in the next couple of moments. Across the city, much of Cook County and much of the city has just seen some showers and some general thunderstorms push on through. A little heavier thunderstorm now in southern Cook County down the Dan Ryan, down I-57 as well, crossing over the Skyway. But of course down into Will County, that's where we've got the tornado warning still in effect. And let's just look at that one a little more closely again, because right over Manteno right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. We've been mentioning that for the past 20 minutes or so. Manteno, the worst is right over you as we speak. The velocity data showing that circulation right over Manteno, crossing over 57 as we speak. So this is the spot where if there's a tornado still happening, it would be in this general area and tracking off towards the east. So if you're over towards Grant Park, not Grant Park in the city, the town of Grant Park, take your tornado precautions in this area too. You're technically not under the tornado warning, but we'll see if they extend it off towards your area. Nonetheless, the threat is there for some very high winds, and they just trimmed this down. Cheryl, this is still in effect until 7:30 or 7:15.
In fact, they just announced that they will be canceling the tornado warning for Will County. It will continue for Kankakee and the Manteno area, but at least parts of it have.
Is that 7:15 or 7:30?
I believe it's 7:30.
I think it's 7:30, yeah. Yeah, another really small box highlighting where the circulation is still located with that storm. And then the other storm as well, we'll show you the circulation on that one. That one's tightening up. That one's really looking
That one's definitely becoming more impressive.
Yeah, this is near Leesville right now. You can see the circulation there near Pembroke and then pushing over towards the state line. This could be drawing closer to McClellan, Enos, right along 41. Hopefully it stays south of Lake Village. Of course, Lake Village got hit by that big tornado earlier this year, so hopefully this one stays south of there, but we'll keep an eye on that as it tracks to the north and to the east. But if you're in this general area, take that tornado precaution right now. And Cheryl, you got it on the shear tracker right there.
Yeah, I wanted to pair that with your velocity just because we can clearly see the velocity, the signature there, and then the shear tracks picking up on that increased spin in the atmosphere. So evidence here of this storm holding its strength and rotation. There has not been a confirmed tornado in this area, but it could drop a tornado at any point in time as we are looking at all of the tools, the radar, velocity combined to see that we are still finding spin within that area.
Cheryl, just got a report of a funnel cloud in that area north of Beaverville, which is that storm we're watching right now. There's the updated tornado warning. Let me look at that and take a peek and see what they're saying about the location of that tornado.
And it's moving to about the east-northeast here, about 40 miles per hour, not bringing up a whole lot of cities here, but Pembroke at 7 now, and then McClellan here getting closer to you at about 7:15. So anyone in this area, again, this borders Lake Village, but you're just off to the north of it. So this will be heading a little bit farther to the south and getting closer to 41 here in the next 20-25 minutes as this warning remains in effect. And this warning was issued and it will stay in effect here until 7:45. The tornado warning has been canceled for Iroquois County. That's a little bit farther off to the south and west. Just getting updates as we continue to communicate.
This one, the tornado potential is right over Hopkins Park, or 9 miles northwest of Morocco, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So just putting a track on this at 30 miles per hour. It'll take it off towards Indiana here in the next couple of moments. And I'll do the track on this as it moves over towards the McClellan area, just very close to Pembroke as well. Potentially up towards Lake Village. Here's the timing. Conrad at about 7:25. Let me adjust this just a little bit to get some more towns in here. Lake Village around 7:27 if it continues to kind of drift a little bit more farther to the north. So in those zones here, really take your tornado precautions. McClellan and Conrad, 7:20, 7:25. That's that circulation passing right over top of you with this storm. Obviously, it's going to rain ahead of time. Lake Village, you're starting to see the rain increase over your head, and also the potential there for some large hail with this storm as well as it's moving off towards the northeast. Talmadge, Pembroke, you're in the thick of this supercell right now with heavy rain and some large hail potential, in addition to the fact of some gusty winds coming down at this time. So let me broaden the view out and we'll put this into motion. These little individual supercell thunderstorms were the ones that we were most concerned about throughout the day, and those are the ones that have spawned the tornadoes as they've tracked through our area. They're still rather intense. You can see the nature of them still trying to wind up and rotate. So we'll keep an eye on this one here that's now still prompting the warning in Kankakee County. Doesn't look like it's letting up just yet because you still see that little tail and that little hook there. So as this tracks into Will County and eventually over into parts of Lake County, Indiana, we'll have to see if we get a continuation of that warning off towards the east. At this point, it hasn't happened just yet, but it's certainly a possibility with that part of the storm. And of course, this supercell as well, we're watching as it moves across the state line. A lot of activity on the radar, Cheryl. Again, that big cluster of storms to the south also is just ramping up. Let me just give you the wider view here because
yeah, I have that up as well.
Oh, you got it. Yeah,
I have it with the lightning. You have it without, which is a good, split screen to see the difference of this part of the storm. But the good news, Larry, unfortunately, downstate, not good news. And we don't want to say truly it's good news if it's really going to be impacting anyone at all, but it will be on a trajectory off to the east. So through Livingston County, most of this will be staying the brunt of it to the south of I-80 here in northern Illinois. We will certainly likely see this moving in to our far southern counties here included in northwest Indiana, which includes Newton and Jasper. So you're getting in on some action now with the rain and storms, and then we'll have to really watch this. But Larry, this is beginning to bow. This is going to potentially turn in to another derecho-like event like we saw yesterday with those straight line winds that really brought damage all across northern Illinois. This is such a dynamic system. We're getting everything at play here with extreme rainfall, very intense lightning. We're getting tornadic supercells, and then we're also getting damaging straight line winds, gusts up to about 70, even 80 miles per hour plus, not out of the question. So it is just a very active night. Just to go over everything again, we have those scattered showers and storms here south of the city right now, down towards Kankakee, still finding spin on some of these storms. Very heavy rain to the north with severe warnings to the south as this part of the storm line, squall line there, continues to push through and really run its way through parts of Livingston County. The tornado warning in the area here still for Manteno until 7:30. That is about to outrun the box there, but more concerning here is this storm to the south where we have the tornado warning for parts of Kankakee and Newton County until 7:45. We definitely get a better idea of this storm on velocity as we are still finding a tight couplet of that red next to the green. So anyone close to the Pembroke area, this is just past to the east. Stay in your safe place for now. Give it at least another 10 more minutes as it moves to the east. And anyone out ahead of this or in this zone, you need to stay in shelter. Conrad, McClellan, watching out for you as it approaches 41. And then Lake Village, you're just up to the north, but we're watching this closely as that circulation is very close to the northern border of this polygon here. We also have video coming in. This is Streeter, and this is an